Hey homies, what's going on, dude? It's the Tabletop Tyrant, and I'm here today with the Wood Elf Army Breakdown. So as the title would suggest, this is about Wood Elves. Elves that live in the woods. So without further ado, let's get into this. Why do I do these videos? These videos are from me to you, so we can look back upon them and do kind of like a look at where they were in 8th edition or their recent edition, so for Bretonia 6th edition, and we're going to look back at it with the new books come and compare and contrast and kind of look and see what changed. This is more just for fun than anything. If you still play 8th edition, you'll understand some metas that are in here and some nasty things. Wood Elves are a very interesting army book because if memory serves me correctly, they were the last 8th edition army book to be made before the end times. And it really shows because they're really freaking good. So, with that caveat aside, let's do this. Let's go.
Let's go!
So we got the army quirks. Boom, PowerPoint. Look at that. Sweet. It's the logo. That's the pie sign. I took the pie sign and made it fancy. These dudes got a few special rules. They got Blessing of the Ancients, Ambushers from the World Roots, Forest Spirit, and Forest Stalker, right? So, pretty interesting stuff. Blessing of the Ancients +1 to casting while within woods. Ambush from the Wild Roots allows you to place an additional Citadel Forest terrain piece. You do this during deployment, but before any units are deployed, and they must be placed on your half of the table. They have to be also 1 inch away from other terrain, as well as, if you have no room for them, you cannot put them. Now, they cannot either, there's a lot of you can't do this with this one. You also have to declare what they are. They cannot be mysterious. So if you pick Blood Forest, they have to be a Blood Forest. They can't be mysterious. And now we got the Forest Spirit. They got the Forest Strider special rule. Close combat and shooting attacks are magical. If the mount is not a mount, make that make sense, gain a 6-up ward save. So I'm guessing like a Great Eagle. I don't know. I couldn't make heads or tails of that one. Also immune to psychology. Let me know if you play Wood Elves what that means. If the mount is not a mount, gain a 6-up ward save and immune to psychology, because I racked my brain around that one for a quick minute there. Now we're going to look at the Forest Stalker. Now this is fairly disgusting. So as we know, all elves have always strikes first. The Wood Elves are no exception. And because they were colonies left behind by Dark Elves and High Elves before the Civil War, they're proficient in both High and Dark magic, as well as having almost all the special rules High Elves and Dark Elves get. Now, instead of Martial Prowess, I believe is the rule for the High Elves, they have Forest Stalker, and it's disgusting. You gain an extra rank in Volley Fire. You fight with an extra rank, and this stacks with the rules. You also get re-rolls of 1 when making close combat attacks. You get to reroll your wounds. Now, a crazy thing, always strikes first, and I believe weapon skill has to be higher. You get to reroll all your failed to hits. So you're not just getting reroll failed to hits now like High Elves. You're now getting reroll failed to hits and wound rolls of 1, which can make or break a combat. I just wanted to stress that one. Boom. So the Armoury of Torgovann. So we're just going to kind of summarize this real quick. Some of you can pick which arrows to use. They have magical arrows. If it says so in the profile that they can use magical arrows, they have to pay per model. So if there's 10 models and the arrow's 3 points, you're paying 30 points. For the most part, they have a couple things in common. They're always strength 3, and almost all of them cause AP. So they're pretty freaking good, as well as having multiple shots or poisoned or a bunch of other stuff, magical. So they're pretty decent and very versatile. So it makes your archers very, very, very good. Now, they also have something called an Asari Spear. It's +1 strength in charging, so acts pretty like a spear. But on top of it, too, you get that extra rank of attack. So much like how the High Elves use those spearmen and get that extra rank with their special rules, same thing here. So there's a potential of you putting out with 4 ranks of attacks rather than 3 if you don't move. And then also, side note, the Javelin is also AP and poisoned, which is freaking dirty. So you're +1 strength when you charge, and also AP, so you're -2 to their base armor save, and you're poisoned. So you're kind of being dirty as hell when you run that. It's like, it's disgusting at the end of the day. There wasn't anything about this army list where I was like, oh wow, this is really fair. And I was like, ooh, thank God I never played a High Elf player. I probably wouldn't be playing anymore. And now here we go. So we're on the lore magic, right? I said it earlier. The Wood Elves were around before the split. So you got high magic and dark magic, as well as the 8 winds of magic that come with them. Pretty good stuff. Moving on. All right. So I wasn't going to cover these, but I figured what the heck, let's do it, because their war gear is pretty decent, and if it's not decent and it's bad, it's thematic. So win-win. If you're competitive, you're going to like it. If you're narrative, you're going to love it. So the Spirit Sword's 85 points. You take a leadership test, both you and the opponent, and if you roll higher than him, he suffers a number of wounds of the difference of what that is. So say you roll a 10 and he rolls an 8, he takes 2 wounds, no armor saves allowed. You can still take ward saves, though. Also, let it be noted, you have to wound him in order to do this. But there's a caveat, because guess what? No armor saves allowed against the regular attacks either. So, again, another dirty weapon. Daith's Rapier. I'm sure I'm butchering that. 50 points. You must reroll all failed to hit wound, and the opponent must reroll successful save wound. It doesn't seem very fair. But what are you going to do? 50 points? I'd take that for sure on a hero. Why not? So yeah, there's that. The Bow of Lauren is really odd, and I say that because it would have really paired up well with the Hail of Doom arrow, but you can't take magical arrows with it. So the Bow of Lauren is pretty much an Asari longbow, but you can't use magical arrows, and it's 20 points. So it's kind of like, why take it? I don't know if you guys took it and you're Wood Elf players. Let me know why. Because as it read, you can't take magical arrows with it. So I feel like the Hail of Doom arrow would have been dope, but I don't know. It's just me. Moving on. Now, my favorite. The Helm of the Hunt. Whenever I find a helmet magical item, I always say take it. Because it always improves your armor save. It's cool as heck to say you have a magical helmet. But this one also does some dirtiness. You get Devastating Charge. On top of that, your +1 weapon skill on the turn you charge in the combat, which is pretty good. If you're going up against the Chaos War, that's the difference between rerolling your failed to hits and not. So, Acorn. Okay, we're moving on. Acorns of the Ages. Now, tell me why this scene came in my head.
All right, Morty, pack your shit. That's only gonna keep him down for a little bit, Morty. You f***ed with squirrels, Morty. We got a good 5 minutes before they're backing up on our ass, Morty.
So, unfortunately for us, we're looking at 100 points. For this upgrade, and you place D3 woods anywhere on the table 1 inch away, and then you scatter them 2d6, and then they can't overlap in the building, so if they brush against the building you have to move them back and put them where they can be, and then you have to designate what all the forests are. So if there's 3 forests you rolled, you have to say if it's a blood forest, they're all blood forests. There's no, oh, I'm going to do this one a blood forest, this one a regular forest, this one a poison forest. You have to designate what they all are, and this happens again before anyone moves, but at the beginning of the game. The Moonstone of Hidden Ways is really interesting and decent, in my opinion. So it's 40 points, and what it is, you can move into a forest, and you can choose to transfer into a different forest facing whichever way you want. However, you count as having marched, so you're not going to be able to shoot or doing any of that. And the only caveat that comes with that is you must maintain the formation you're in. So if you're 10x4, you're staying 10x4. So I think that's pretty awesome. Now, on to the Hail of Doom arrow. 30 points, 1 use only, has to be used with a Asari longbow. Now, the Hail of Doom arrow can be used in lieu of your shooting. Now, what does it do? You make sure you declare in your shooting attack, I do declare I use my Hail of Doom, and you make its range is 30, its strength is 4, and you get 3d6 shots. So that's really either really good or really boo-boo, depending on how you play. My dice roll, I'd probably be like 3. But you know what? Maybe you got better dice rolls. Maybe your hands are treating you better than mine are. I don't know. We got, I'm gonna butcher the crap out of this one. Calignor's Staff, 20 points. The bearer generates 1 less spell. However, you gain a super duper special spell, Tree Singing. Now, what does Tree Singing do, one might ask? And that's the perfect question, because I also was wondering what that was. So it's an augment spell that targets a single forest within 18 inches, right? If the caster, within 18 inches of the caster, if there are no units in those trees, you're able to move d6 plus 1 in a direction of your choice. However, you must be, again, 1 inch away from other terrain. Now, what happens if there's friendly units or enemy units within inside of it? You do not move the 2d6. Instead, You don't move the d6. Instead, you take 2d6 strength 4 hits on the enemy unit. It didn't say anything about friendly. It just said enemy. And the wizard can choose to select all force within 12 inches and cast that on a supercharge of 16. Which, I'm pretty sure, with all the stuff you can do with the woods, you could have formulated some pretty nasty bombs of just blowing people up in the woods. But, I don't know. Like I said, hindsight's 2020. I've never really played as the Wood Elves, and I really wish I would have at least went against them to have an idea. You guys all know me by this point in the channel. I love me a good 100-point banner. And up until, I think, this one, I have not found a single banner that was worth 100 points. The banner of the Eternal Queen is 100 points, right? What tyrant does that give you? It gives you Magic Res 3. However, you also have the Unbreakable rule in a turn that you selected. So you can do it in your opponent's turn or your turn, but you must declare, I believe, at the beginning of that turn. And then what happens is that unit's entirely unbreakable. They could pound the tar out of you with everything around you, and you're not moving. So that's pretty cool. I like that. I think that's pretty fun. 100 points, maybe, but in terms of all the other 100 points, I'd say, yeah, that's pretty fair. Now, moving on, the Banner of the Hunter King. Now, I like this one. I think this one's pretty interesting. It's still a pretty big point sink at 75 points. However, you gain Vanguard, and you reroll your first failed charge roll of the game. So you can use that a lot with the stags, I think, are good, the great stags. But again, this is all just conjecture. I'm not really familiar with it, but that's what I would use it on. The great stags seem like a great choice personally. Again, let's move on. What else we got here? Ooh, we got the mounts. This is where we step in to the muddy water here, because the mounts that is not a mount that could be a mount could get a 6-up invul save as well as immunopsychology. So you have the Elven Steed. It moves movement 6, weapon skills 3. Its strength and toughness is 3, initiative 4, leadership 5, fast cav. So what's that mean? It means you're going to be able to retreat and rally and do all that, automatically rally. It's really good to have fast cav. I like it, harass people with it. And especially since we are going to talk about it later, but they have some cavalry with the bows that can take magical arrows, you can really start messing with people. My personal favorite, even though the model was absolute derp, is the Forest Dragon. So the Forest Dragon is movement 6, weapon skill 6, strength and toughness 6. I have to look at my notes here. Weapon skill 6, 6 wounds, initiative 3, and 5 attacks. So this dude is pretty beefy. He's also leadership 8. He can fly. He has the Forest Spirit special rule, large target, scaly skin 3-up, and causes terror, but has superific breath. What does superific breath mean? I don't know, but I'm about to tell you. It's a strength 2 breath weapon that wounds are caused. It's a strength 2 breath weapon, and the wounds that it causes are resolved as being -3 to the bearer's armor save. So get wrecked, noob. And then, oh my goodness, the worst thing, you're affected by stupidity for the rest of the game. So you better hope you didn't take a low leadership army. So there's that. You got the Great Eagle, the mount that's not a mount that could be a mount. Movement 2 for whatever reason, but it flies, so 12. Weapon skill 5, strength and toughness 4, wounds 3, initiative 4, attacks 2, leadership 8, monstrous beast, and fly. So you will get some stomps in there on people if they're beneath you. Good on you. Now my favorite, the Great Stag. Movement 9, weapon skill 5, strength 5, toughness 4, wounds 3, initiative 4, attacks 2, and leadership 7, right? Monstrous beast, fear, impact hits, D3, and Forest Spirit. D3 impact hits, you're like, what's that dude from The Hobbit and cuts the heads off the elk? This one. And then you have the Unicorn. Now, correct me if I am wrong, Beastman players, but we did Goros Warhoof dirty, because I believe Goros Warhoof had a unicorn head on his head, and it said, the skull of the last unicorn. Now, either he's lying, which why would a respectable Beastman lie, or the Wood Elves are lying, and they're not real unicorns. They're just gluing horns on their head. Narwhals. Anyways, these dudes are movement 10, weapon skill 5, strength and toughness 4, wounds 3, initiative 5, attacks 2, leadership 8, magic res 2, impale. What does impale do? +2 strength on the turn in which you charge, because you're impaling them with your imposter unicorn horn. So, now that we have covered that, let's move on. Oh yeah, back in the unit profiles, baby! Unit profiles! Look at that. Let's just rewatch that. Boom! The transition! It's been the same one for 10 slides. I never changed that one because I like it. Building an army. So as we know, they have kept this fairly similar. To my actual surprise, 25% minimum core, up to 50 special, and up to 25 rare. So continuing forward, we got the Glade Guard. So we got Glade Guard, Dryads, Glade Riders, and Eternal Guard. Now I personally am going to go for the Eternal Guard. You can hate me for it, but I think they're the coolest. Glade Guard, 12 points a model. They have hand weapon and a longbow. This is your range core option. For 10 points, you can have a command. So that's 10 for Musician, Standard Bearer, and Champion. I'm not going to repeat it every turn because everything's 10 points for this upgrade. Some things can take banners, some things can't. So I'm just going to say the times they can't take it. You may take the magical arrows, and like I said, is pay for the arrow per model. So be that as it may. So now we're moving to Dryads. So Dryads, 11 points per model. They cause fear. They have Forest Spirit, and they have Hatred. So you're re-rolling your failed to wounds, I believe, in the first round of combat. Pretty disgusting considering that's pretty much what people get for their special choice. You can only take a champion for 10 points, and what do you get with that champion? You get an extra attack. So it's worth it. Glade Riders. These dudes are good. Fast cav, like I was telling you about, and these elves are packing some firepower. 19 points per model. Upgrades for command elements are 10, and you can have a 25 point magic standard, so that's pretty dope. On top of it, they're packing Armoury Spear, which don't forget is +1 strength on the turn they charge, and they have a hand weapon as well as an Armoury Longbow, which is range 30, strength 3. Now they may take the enchanted arrows too, so say you want to deal with, I don't know, some wraiths or some ghouls, anything that's ethereal, just take the magic arrows, pepper them. Be rough about it. They go to charge you, feint, automatically rally, do it again. It's freaking golden. It's a tried and true. And then these are by far, I think, the most versatile core. They are a tad. I wouldn't even say they're expensive. You're getting a really, really good deal out of these. I couldn't find anything really to complain about. Maybe like 17 points if you want to nitpick, but honestly, I think they're perfect. Now on to my personal favorite. One, they had cool models, as you'll see here. I really loved these models. If I was ever to do Wood Elves, I would have gotten these ones. So you're looking at the Eternal Guard. They're 11 points per model. Command upgrades are 10 points a pop. They can take shields for 1 point, and their weapon skill 5. Stubborn, so they're always going to be at base leadership. Always strikes first. Forest Stalker, so they reroll wound rolls of 1. So they reroll wound rolls of 1 also. So I mean, with that special rule, so they're pretty good. They're packing a nasty hit. And at weapon skill 5, you're probably going to be rerolling those failed to hit rolls because you're going to be out doing someone else's weapon skill. Now let's move forward. Wildwood Rangers, 11 points per model, always strikes first. Great weapons, so that cancels out always strikes first, and they'll strike at initiative. But don't worry, they're initiative 5. They're also packing light armor, weapon skill 5, bliss skill 4, strength 3, toughness 3, I believe, attacks 1, and leadership 9. They are immune to psychology, but dude, they don't even care. This is how little they care about your psychology. They have a rule called Guardians of the Wildwood. If a model is in base contact and causes fear or terror, get wrecked, noob. I'm going to get an extra attack on you. So you get 2 attacks. So definitely something you want to throw towards giants, monsters, any type of infantry that's scary, or any type of undead. Just beat their bones to pieces. Now the War Dancers are really disgusting. You see a little bit of Savage Orcs kind of channeling through here in terms of the tattoos. So let's just get in 15 points per model, unit size of 5 or more. Weapon skill 6. So take that in. Weapon skill 6. Strength and toughness 3. Attacks 3, 4 in the champion. Initiative 6 and leadership 8. Always strikes first. Forest Stalker. Immune to psychology. Shadow Dances of Loek. Skirmishers, talismanic tattoos, and may upgrade the champ and all that for 10 points. And you can take spears, but F the spears because you got an additional hand weapon, so you're going to go up another attack. And before attacks. And then when you see what the shadow dances are, you're going to poop your pants. So tattoos, 6-up ward save. Pretty dope, right? Not anything to write home about, but not bad. Shadow dances here. Now, you have to pick a dance. You can't do the same dance 2 rounds in a row, so you must change. The shadow dances are pretty freaking intense too. Whirling Death. Gain not only AP, but also Killing Blow. And for those of you that don't know, Killing Blow on a 6-up, done. That dude don't get he's just beast out. You can pick Stormblades. Get a +1 attack. So your base attacks 3, plus 1 more for additional hand weapons, plus 1 more for Stormblades. That's 5 attacks. 6 on the champion. Not even fair. This Shadow Coil, you're going to go up against something that's going to whoop your butt. No big deal. Take that, dance around, and get a freaking 3-up ward save. And then you have the Woven Mist. Enemy units receive no combat res for bonus ranks. And again, base unit of 5. So it's like, those 5 dudes are going to do some damage. Treekin, 45 points per unit. Unit size is 3 or higher. They may take a champ for 10 points. Their weapon skill 4, strength 4, toughness 5, wounds 3, initiative 3, attacks 3, 4 on the champion. And also, don't forget they're monstrous, so they get to stomp on you at initiative 1. So get wrecked. So they cause fear. The quick caveat here is they are flammable, so you will get lit on fire if someone decides to do that. They have 4 spirit and a 4-up scaly skin, so pretty decent, right? Moving on, Deep Wood Scouts. Alright, now these guys way less interesting than the Glade Riders, so these dudes can get wrecked. I'm not a big fan. Let me know what you think. 13 points per unit, 5 up, longbow, hand weapon, strikes first, scout, skirmisher, may take magic arrows, weapon skill, bliss skill 4, strength, toughness 3, command is 10 points per. Now, they don't do as well as the Glade Riders, and they don't do as crazy as the Way Watchers. And the Way Watchers, while being more points heavy, I would just take them anytime over the freaking Deepwood Scouts personally. Moving on to the Warhawk Riders, you're at 45 points, unit size of a 3 or higher. They are monstrous cav, weapon skill 4, strength and toughness 3, initiative 5, leadership 8. Now they have the bow of Asari, the spear of Asari, AP on Warhawks. So the Warhawks get armor piercing, and they have Predator's Descent. And the Warhawk champion is 10 points. So what does Predator's Descent do? You're going to notice this really great trend of just beating the tar out of any army you fight. Predator's Descent pretty much gives you Killing Blow when it charges. So on the turn it charges, and only the turn it charges, you get Killing Blow on the mounts only. The mounts that may not be mounts, they can take freaking ward saves and immune to psychology. Oh my goodness. Yeah, these gals are crazy. You got the Sisters of the Thorn here coming in at 26 points per model. Their unit size is 5 or higher. Their weapon skill 5, 6 on the champion. And then on top of it, strength and toughness 3, initiative 5, leadership 9. Command is 10 points. They can take a magic standard up to 50 points, and they have the Blackbriar Javelin. They have Always Strikes First, Daughters of the Eternity, Deepwood Coven, Fast Calf, Forest Stalker, and Poison Attack. So do you know what happens when you have Poison Attack, and then your weapon also is Poison Attack? You now get Poison Attacks on 5-ups instead of 6-ups. Pretty cool. So what's Daughters of Eternity do? We're going to start you off real slow into the dirtiness of this unit. You only get a 4-up ward save, which is what most heroes pay for freaking 45 points with the Talisman of Preservation. Now, 26 points per model is steep, but this is what makes them absolutely disgusting. This entire thesis I had to write to get these in here. The Deepwood Coven is a unit of Sisters of the Thorn, is treated as a level 2. Not 1, not 2, not the champion, the entire unit. Now, what do they get? They get the Lore of Life, Shield of Thorns from the Lore of Life, and Curse of Veneer from the Lore of Beasts. The 8 Winds of Magic are going to get their own video respectively very soon. Other friendly wizards may also know these spells, so you can't take them away from your other shamans. So for those that don't know, no 2 wizards can have the same spells. But because they're technically only acting as a wizard, they can. This unit gains +1 to cast per rank to a maximum of 3. So if you have 4 ranks, you can freaking get +3 to your casting roll. And you have to nominate at least 1 sister from the unit for line of sight. So if you're 10 wide and you're hoarding these gals up just to make a Death Star, you're going to hurt people. And then on top of it, you have all these sisters you can pick from. And now you might be saying, well, it's okay, Tyrant, because if you blow up or you miscast, you get that big, large pie template. To that I say, no, you do not. So what do you get? You just take D3 wounds with no saves of any kind allowed. So no ward save, but what's the worst thing you're going to lose? You're going to lose what? You're going to lose a Sister of the Thorn, maybe 3 of them. So what? Take a big unit. Now, they are, in my opinion, the dirtiest. Now, let's move on here. Sorry, the Wild Riders. At 26 points a pop. Command is 10 points apiece. Again, magic items or magic banner up to 50 points. And they have unit size of 5 up. They get the Asri Spear, hand weapon, light armor. They have Frenzy. and they have the tattoos that we talked about previously. They can also take a shield for an added 2 points per model. Nah, a pass. 26 points, or I don't know. You can take the freaking Sisters of the Thorn for 26 points. I'll let you be the judge of what's better. Next. Alright, rare. Now this is my favorite personally. I won't cover the Great Eagles because I already covered them in their mount section. We will cover the Way Watchers. 20 points per model. Champ is 10 points. Like I said, no musician, the standard bearer clearly. And they have a two-hand weapons, the Assery Longbow, unit size 5 up, weapon skill 4, bliss skill 5, aka 6 in the champion, strength and toughness 3, attacks 1, leadership 8. Hawk-eyed archers is one of their special rule, as well as scouts and skirmishers. Now what's hawk-eyed archers do? You get to choose to make either attack a hasty shot or a well-aimed shot. Hasty shot gives you 2 shots per, and then a well-aimed shot gives you 1 really, really good shot with, I believe, no armor saves allowed. Yep. And you must choose for the entire unit. So you can't say 5 of them are going to do the hasty shot, 5 are going to do the supercharged shot. You can't do that person dirty. You're already playing a dirty army. You should feel bad about that already. You're not going to be making it even dirtier. Anyways, so yeah, pretty nasty, really good at sniping stuff out, and they have a pretty decent character hero choice you can take, which can go with them and just be dope. So Great Eagles, like I said, I covered them before, but what do they cost? They're 50 points per model, so take that. The Tree Man is the coolest. You're looking at 225 points for a monster. He's flammable, obviously, a forest spirit, obviously, large target, scaly skin, stubborn terror, tree whack, and you're looking at a pretty beefy stat line of weapon skill 6, bliss skill 6, strength 5, toughness 6, initiative 2, 5 attacks, and leadership 9. What the heck is a tree whack? It's exactly how it sounds. You declare before rolling to hit, right? And you nominate a model in base contact. That model must pass initiative test or suffer d6 wounds with no armor saves allowed. And this can be done in a challenge too, so you can challenge some dude and some tree whack your lame and just watch him die to that. He also has a little bit of a shooting attack and upgrade, if you will, called Strangle Roots. Range 12, strength 5, d6 plus 1 shots. Pretty cool. Being bliss skill 6, that's definitely disgusting. It's going to be doing some work on you. Moving on. So, like I always say, everybody, alright, like I say before, now it looks like they're doing name lords and heroes. They just compile them all to 1, and it's 25% for the bracket. So, there you go. Moving on. So we got the name lords Orion, Durthru, and Aroloth. Very cool. And we got named heroes Dryka and Naestra and Arahan. I believe those are the sisters. So we're going to cover all those in their own respective videos later on, especially if they make it into the old world. Without further ado, let's knock out the regular lords here and heroes. So we got a Glade Lord / Captain. The Glade Lord's 145 points. The Captain is 75 points. And you can upgrade the Captain to a BSB for 25 points. The stat lines are as follows: weapon skill 7 for the Lord, 6 for the Captain. If I say 1, it's -1 for the other. So the Glade Lord's bliss skill 7 and the Captain would be 6. Strength 4 for both, toughness 3 for both, wounds 3, 2 for the Captain, initiative 8, 7 for the Captain, leadership 10, 9 for the Captain. They also have the Arrow of Kruneros. Once, when both sides are deployed, but before anyone's moved, measure to see if the enemy general is within 36 inches of you, and you can make a single strength 3 hit. No armor saves can be taken. After that, you just resume as normal. So I don't know why, but I'm sure there's a way you could really cheese that and just smoke a character outright if you got lucky enough, just by spamming captains for 75 points. But I don't know. I don't know what the meta ever was for these, and I'm just, as I did this army, I was like, thank goodness, baby. Thank goodness I never went against this. So we got the Spellweaver and Singer, 185 points, and 80 points. So 185 points for the Weaver, 80 points for the Singer. Additional wizard level for either was 35 points. You had access to the 8 winds of magic, also high in death magic, or high in dark magic, my apologies. So Lords could take up to 100 points in magical items. Heroes could take up to 50, and that applies to these as well. In this, we got the Shadow Dancer at 100 points. Can become a level 1 wizard for 60 points. Must take from the Lore of Shadows. Now, if you remember those crazy dudes that could dance, this is one of those dudes, but in hero form. So what are you getting? You're getting a weapon skill 8, blitz skill 6, strength 4, toughness 3, wounds 2, initiative 8, 3 attacks, leadership 8. He has the tattoos, the shadow dance we covered, blessing of the ancients, forest stalker, always strikes first, 25 points of magic items. What can that buy you? That's a dispel scroll. Boom, moving on. We got the Waystalker, clocking in at 90 points. 25 points of magic items you can put on him. This dude is an assassin with a bow. I was telling you, throw him with the Waywatchers. I feel like he would be better used there. You're looking at weapon skill 6, ballistic skill 7, strength 4, toughness 3, wounds 2, initiative 7, attacks 1, leadership 8. Throw him in a Waywatchers unit and just watch him just snipe people down. He also has a sniper special rule on top of it, so be that as it may. And then finally, for all of you that love your tree friends out there, you can take a Branched Wraith, 75 points, level 1 wizard, lore of life, weapon skill 6, bliss skill 6, strength and toughness 4, wounds 2, initiative 7, attacks 3, leadership 9, and it has all the special rules that the dryads get, so hatred and stuff like that. So, pretty interesting. The Wood Elves were such a crazy army book to go through. I've had the army book for such a long time, and I don't know why I never went through it and just was like, oh, I'm not a big elf player. However, it was a really big experience, and I think that the Wood Elves are right up the alley for a lot of people. If you're looking to do elves, but you're not sure if you want to side with the high elves, and well, dark elves are now toast in the new edition, but if you wanted to go and do them in legends, or you were dabbling with it, I would say check the Wood Elves out. They're very neutral. They look out pretty much for their own butt. They have gorgeous color schemes. The models were fantastic in my opinion, and honestly, I wasn't going to do them, but I'm thinking about it for the old world nowadays. I think it's not because of the rules either, but just because they're kind of cool and very unique. I've always been against like the high elves and dark elves. I thought they were, one's really excessive and one's too pompous. These are right in the middle and perfect for anyone that doesn't like the pompousness and the over excessiveness of the dark elves. I think after reading the Malice Darkblade series, I was done. So everyone, I just want to say thank you again for showing up to this. These are a lot of fun for me to make. I'm looking forward to getting my hands on the Old World rulebook. And when I do, we'll be breaking down the entire game. So I want to be breaking down the phases individually, separately, walking people through it, and pretty much doing like a how to play for anyone that may be new to the old world, and do a how to play for anyone that may be returning from the old world from fantasy battles. Now, with that being said, what's up for the channel? I got a surprise video for you guys Friday. It's fantasy related, so don't worry, I'm not going to post like some crazy off the wall crap. And yeah, so everyone, happy holidays. There will be a post on Monday of me saying what's up to y'all. And I hope you guys and gals have a lovely day, evening and night. And I look forward to seeing you on Friday. Peace.